Welcome back to another episode of TVGP's Critical Misses. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always, Moonpeer.
Hi there, everyone.
We're on episode 3 here, which turns out to be Mission Impossible 3.
Who would have thought it? I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Who'd have thought Tom Cruise, the bad guy in this one? No, I don't think he
Oh,
is. He's the bad guy in Tropic Thunder. He's not the bad guy in this one.
I'm pretty sure this is actually the last numbered one.
I believe so. Because the rest of them are like Fallout.
Ghost Protocol,
Ghost
Rogue Nation,
Protocol.
Fallout. Crap, what's the new
Alpha
one
Protocol.
called? The new one's called like Dead Man Walking or something like that.
It's something crazy. Yeah, it's something like that. Part 1. It's like, oh boy. Okay. So Fallout 3. Well, my favorite Tom Cruise movie. Mission Impossible 3. I feel like this is the one that I remember the least.
Okay.
Because I
It
feel
should
like
be the one you remember the most, to be
yeah,
honest.
and I feel like maybe that's just how my brain works. I feel like the first one had some memorable stuff. I did okay on that one. Second one,
Dead Reckoning, by the way.
Dead Reckoning. Ooh, that's the title. Ooh. Second one was memorable for maybe good and bad reasons.
It's the Nickelback album, All the Wrong Reasons.
Yeah, hey, there you go.
Actually, I think the album's
Just
called
as
All the Right
divisive.
Reasons.
And the third one, I feel like I know I have seen this one. I know I've seen it once. I don't remember. I think this is the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I was going to say I got 3 words for you, and they will tell you that you've seen this before. And those 3 words were Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, I was fairly sure that this was the one he was in because, like we talked about at the beginning of the season, once we get past these first 3 movies, we get into the, precision driving, crew building, Fast Saga-esque movies after this. And we will definitely see some, as we talked about on Twitter recently, some hand reload, some fist reloading action upcoming. Yep. Sadly, not in this movie. I don't know how many mustaches this movie has, but we'll have to start counting. We do have our master list of mask rips.
The Russian doctor had a sick mustache.
That's true. He did have a really good mustache. Now that you bring it up,
Gleason had a beard, so that doesn't really count.
Yeah, he always does though. We do. Don't forget our grand total mask rips of 8. The first movie had 3. The second one had 5. 2 mask rips at once. Can we beat it by doing 3? The whole team just rips off at once.
It did a double rip twice. Like it did the double fake out twice.
That's what's gonna happen in oh god, I lost the joke.
It's the rule of 3, man. It's the comedy rule of 3. They broke it. They need to do 3.
Instead of a double event, it's a double rip.
Oh god, Pacific Rim reference, really?
Yeah. Pacific Rim 3, double rip.
That sounds either like an adult thing or a Beyblade thing. I can't tell.
Or both. I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum. So what? It's gonna be one of those days. So I remember Philip Seymour Hoffman. I feel like this movie. So if I remember correctly, the last one was released in 2000. This one's in 2006. So I feel like we'll probably see more big actors in this one than maybe we did in the first 2, because it's sort of like, it's not to the level of like Fast Saga where it's like, look who's showing up now, not someone you would expect, but they want to be in this. They want to be in this crazy ride.
I think you're thinking of this the wrong way. I think you'll see a lot of soon-to-be big actors.
Sure. Because
it is Mission Impossible, and Mission Impossible was kind of questionable at this point in time.
I mean, the reception, 2's reception was chilly, let's say.
Yes.
But Tom Cruise was still doing great work at this point, and Tom Cruise did a good job in 2. And that wasn't 2 wasn't Tom Cruise's fault.
No, and we do know. Well, technically, it might be, considering he's the one who's responsible for John Woo getting involved.
That's true. He didn't run enough. That's the problem. That's why 2 wasn't received well enough.
There is definitely a very long running scene in this movie because that's something you remembered.
Yeah, is this the one where he runs for like 5 straight minutes?
5 straight minutes through China, I believe.
Oh my god, what a great shot! Just man, look at him. Here he goes. He's off running again. Yeah.
Who directed this movie, Boston?
Oh, I have no idea.
You have no idea at all.
The first 2 directors have been wild, so I'm still not over the first movie's director. But I genuinely don't remember. I don't know if I've ever known.
This is going to be a shocker to you.
Okay.
Even more of a shocker is the fact that it is their directorial debut for future films.
Oh no. Okay, I'm bracing myself here. I have my eyes closed.
No, you can either love him or hate him.
Okay.
This is J.J. Abrams' directorial debut.
Oh no. Okay. I have a real soft spot for a lot of J.J. Abrams movies. I really love... People are going to be so mad.
If you say the Star Trek series, I agree, because they happen to be the best Star Trek movies that exist on the planet.
I really love them, and I really love the lens
so
flare.
Good.
Please send me hate mail. I love the lens flare. I'm not going to apologize for it. I don't care who knows. Wow.
Well, the lens flare fits in space. Because, spoiler alert, you're going to get lens flare in space.
It's bright up there in space. Wow, that's wild. Okay, all right. I like that. I'm excited for the director of all 3 of these movies for totally different reasons. For the first one, it's sort of like wasn't expecting you to make an action heist movie at all, but okay. John Woo is very much like.
Just as a side effect, by the way, the Star Trek music will never be as good as it is in that first Abrams movie. Like, they orchestrate the hell out of it, and it's so good.
It's very good. I'm kind of excited to watch this movie again then, because I like a lot of Abrams stuff, and I'm kind of curious to see baby Abrams cutting his teeth here on a Tom Cruise movie.
That's the question: is how much of this is a Tom Cruise movie, and how much of this is a J.J. Abrams movie?
I expect it to be. I don't expect there to be a lot of the Abrams hallmarks here. I don't think. I wonder if this is maybe more of a DP driven film rather than kind of a director driven film. And I'm sure that at this point it's 2006, so I'm sure at this point Tom Cruise probably has enough weight that he's throwing around at this point.
I'm pretty sure he's credited as an EP in this movie, so I think this is either this movie or the last movie was the start of the executive producer Tom Cruise, I think.
Yeah, and it has always struck me, as someone who doesn't know a lot about the inner workings of Hollywood, it has always struck me that there's kind of 2 types of executive producers. One is, I'm putting my name on there for royalties, you can make the movie. And the other one is, I'm here every day. I'm looking at the storyboards. I'm doing script revisions. Like I'm in the trenches.
And we're definitely not going to get into how all of Hollywood is essentially just one giant tech scam. Not at all.
Correct. Yeah.
We can get into that. We can get into that when the Mad Max movie, when the Mad Max series runs around.
Yes. Yeah. Let's cover the lawsuit hour. Gosh, what else? I'm hoping we see Ving Rhames back. I like his. I think he played it pretty well with his character's evolution in the second one. I had some frustration about his character's sudden, not ineptitude, but kind of struggles with technology, which I think I thought sort of stunk. I don't think we'll see. I don't think Simon Pegg shows up until the next one. and he shows up when the crew starts getting together, I believe.
Okay.
So I think we're peg free, sadly, until the next one. We're pegless, Moon. What else? I think Philip Seymour Hoffman is the bad guy, if I remember.
Yes, that is true.
I don't remember anything about the heist. We talked.
Do you know what the mission is?
Well, it's certainly probably going to end the world if Ethan Hunt doesn't intervene.
Okay.
2006? I don't know. It's like probably something with like a satellite, some GPS business.
Okay.
Some
See,
ICBM.
I can remember exactly what the mission is in this because there's technically 3 different missions, I believe.
Wow, what a treat!
The 3 different missions revolve around the same thing. And they handle it so well that it's like, why couldn't you learn this going forwards, JJ? Why couldn't you take this knowledge that you learned in this movie, for example, into, I don't know, episode 9, maybe. Who knows?
Just to throw a random movie out there for no reason.
Just as
pulling it out of the hat.
Little sideways example.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity,
yes,
the trailer for Dead Reckoning Part 1 just hit this week.
So
totally date this.
I have not watched it.
Did you see the trailer?
No, I have heard a couple of things, but I have not yet watched it.
I have to spoil one thing.
Sure.
Kittredge is in the trailer, dude.
I have heard that he is coming back, which makes me very happy.
It's like, what the hell?
Yep. A mere 20-something years later.
Yeah, they clearly watched the Fast movies, is all I'm saying. I'm just saying. They clearly watched those movies.
Speaking of the Fast movies, Rita Moreno was just hired in Fast 10.
Who's that?
Oh, man. So many people are going to be so upset. She's like a very famous musical star she's been in movies and TV shows forever. But
wait, as an actor or
probably. And she's Vin Diesel's grandma, I think, which is like the perfect.
I googled her, and yes, she's Puerto Rican. She's a Puerto Rican actress, so it makes sense considering he leans into the Puerto Rico side of his heritage.
Yeah.
I'm
going to assume that Vin Diesel isn't in this movie, but who knows? He can pop up anywhere at this point.
Probably correct. I mean, Pyro was in the last one, and you didn't even notice.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't even see him in there. Gosh, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can remember. I don't remember who does the theme this time.
I think it's a classic. It's not one of those soundtrack things.
It's not like a popular band.
Yeah, I don't think this one has one of those. I think it is a soundtrack. It's Michael Giacchino, who I had no idea who this guy was until Cinema Wins started. Cinema Wins with a W.
The good one.
Started pointing out his sound because he did Rogue One, he did Star Trek, he did Ratatouille and Up. Like, the dude is an insanely good.
Wow. Cloverfield, The Incredibles, Sky High. Boy, that's Cars 2, Super 8. Goodness.
Dude has
he's done it all.
Work.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
And I'm pretty sure he's also part of the breakout people who land underneath the guy you hate, Zimmerman, I think. I don't
hate Hans Zimmer. I just think that when he puts out a soundtrack and he's not... I really love his soundtracks when he gets a little weird with it, like the Sherlock Holmes movies. I like that he kind of got weird. He's like, I'm going to play the theme on a broken piano. Here you go. It's like, okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. But when he turns in like a score, it's kind of okay. And to be fair, I haven't heard the Dune score. I heard it's very good.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's one of the most original pieces of sci-fi music I've heard in a long time. I'm not
Yeah.
saying something considering all sci-fi music sounds the same.
Right. Um, Gosh, I can't think of anything else.
Do we want to talk about any memorable lines from this?
That's not going to be anything I remember. I
Okay.
I
But dude, you don't understand. If one person taps their foot on the brakes,
uh-huh.
30 mile away, you can see the ripple effects of that one person tapping their foot on the brakes.
Oh God.
I
Okay.
can tell you exactly what scene it's from. I can tell you
hmm
exactly why it's there. Um,
I
it's hilarious.
I remember liking this movie um quite a bit when it came out, and gosh, I just don't remember anything about it.
Do you even remember the fact that this has got arguably one of the greatest intros in cinematic history? This is the Mass Effect 2 of cinema.
No, I don't even remember that.
Dude, I cannot wait to, because this
Okay.
movie starts immediately.
Hmm. That's exciting because I think 2 tried to do some of that and had a pretty cool cold open, but nothing.
It was only cool because it had the mask grip, dude. Come on.
Well, I mean, I'm a sucker for a good mask grip.
And Tom Cruise looking like a bad guy.
It's so good. Oh gosh. All right. Any other final thoughts here before we go watch the film?
I really like this movie, and I'm gonna possibly do a lens flare count, maybe depending on how much I'm
How many
actually looking
how
for
many
it,
counters are we gonna have at this? We're gonna start putting them on screen.
because I want to see how bad JJ was when he first started. Because like
Right.
it's one of those things like you go on IMDb and you're like, oh, in the trivia section there's directorial tropes like Peter Jackson is always in his movies, for example, or
Sure.
this actor, old English guy, is always in Christopher Nolan's movies.
Oh,
Um,
sure, sure.
like
I did just look up while you were talking, and the cinematographer between this and his next movie, which is a Star Trek movie, is the same guy, Dan Mindell. So
okay,
there's a lens flare chance here. Our percentage
uh,
chance for lens flares is raising.
how much was Tom in the editing booth is what I want to know.
That's
How
right.
much did Tom
He's smacking
was Tom in
JJ's
there?
hands. No, stop pushing the lens flares.
There's literally like one button. It's a big red button, and it says
That's
"Add
right.
lens flare," and it's that spaceman sweating kind of thing. With his
That's right.
hand over the button.
Tom Cruise won't be in my next movie. It's not going to stop me from the lens flares.
Uh huh.
Oh man. All right. On that note, let's go watch the movie.
Sure. Oh no, no, no! We can't. We
Yes.
can't.
What? Yes. Hi.
The cable moment. Do we know what the cable moment is?
The cable moment.
You literally pointed it out to me in the last movie because I forgot it's a thing for this series. Because I can definitely remember the cable moments in this movie.
Oh, like in the big famous one in the first one. Yeah, that they. Okay. Yeah. So like we dive
And
through
for those
something.
listening, I'm doing arm motions.
Yeah, he's doing the balancing over the ground arm motions. Yeah, goodness. I guess that's a good question of are they going to replace are they going to replicate that
I
hanging
half expected you to finish that sentence with replace the cable moment with lens flare.
He's diving on a lens flare. Woo. Are they going to replicate that like hanging horizontally somehow shot in this one too? Because shockingly, that came up in the second one. Um,
Which I forgot all about, by the way.
right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's gonna be like that one shot where you're like, oh man, yeah, look at that. That's cool. He's doing the thing. Other than the running thing, because that's my favorite thing. Um, yeah, I don't know. I
I
don't remember.
really love. I remember this cable moment. It's kind of
Okay.
cool, actually.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note, let's go watch the movie.
Yep.
Welcome back. Let's get my mic over here. We've seen the film. seen the third Mission
Mhm.
Impossible movie. Let's I want to go down the list of the absolute roster of killers that are featured in this movie.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, Tom Cruise. Ving Rhames returning, which I'm very happy
Uh-huh.
about. Philip Seymour Hoffman, which you talked about in the
As
intro.
we discussed.
Yeah. Michelle Monaghan as
Uh-huh.
Ethan's fiance slash wife, which great. Maggie Q showing up, which I have not seen her in something in a good long time.
Uh-huh.
Jonathan Rhys Meyers, which
Uh-huh.
kills it like usual. Billy Crudup, which is
Uh-huh.
real happy to see him here. Kerry Russell showing up,
Uh-huh.
doing a good job. Simon Pegg, which I incorrectly said was probably not in this movie.
Uh-huh.
Lawrence Fishburne, which we'll get to here in a little bit. And then my personal two favorite small roles are Greg Grunberg. You have seen him in Heroes. And Aaron Paul. Aaron Paul showing up
Aaron
as
Paul, yes.
the
Who was
stoner.
Greg Grunberg?
He's the guy who in the party in the first, like the second scene, he's the one who's like,
Oh,
oh yeah,
you're talking about J.J. Abrams' good luck charm. I know what
yes,
you're talking about now.
yeah, that guy, the guy who's like, ugh, whatever, and all the ladies are like, I'd marry him.
He's
That's
in
great.
every J.J. movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, he's also in L.A. Noire, sort of
Yes, he
infamously.
is.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about. Let's get into the movie now that we have the cast of characters down. Let's get into the movie, starting with, yeah, you're right. What a hell of an intro scene. Wow. How did I not remember this absolute banger of a scene that opens this movie? And
Now you know why I was saying this is the Mass Effect 2 of cinema openings, because
yeah,
holy crap, this cold open it's a work of art.
it's a lot of like, yeah, we did some pretty cool stuff before. What about this? I'm counting to 10.
I love the 7 delivery. 7, and then he starts flipping out. He's like, 7! Like, okay, I get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's a real good way of setting up Hoffman as the bad guy, as this kind of, he doesn't really care for a good long time, and then he all of a sudden really cares, and then he's not afraid to just shoot Ethan's wife. So
You don't know who that is
it's true.
at the
It's true.
start either.
Yeah. Obviously, someone who's very important to Ethan, but definitely not known as his wife. Yeah, and then shoots her, and then it's like, all right, let's
And then
let's
you
get
the
to
match
this thing.
strike.
Yeah. Gosh. Where's this start?
Starts at the party.
Yeah, it starts at the party
I believe.
where Ethan claims that he's working for the Department of Transportation.
I told you, man. You tap your foot on the brakes.
That's
200
right.
miles down the road.
Yep, feeling the ripple effects. It's I like the shot where he gets the call about the vacation. First thing he does is just dumps the ice out in the backyard. That's
Yeah,
pretty.
there's like a hard cut to him, just like with the ice.
It's like another hard cut to being like, "Oh, we're all out of ice. I'll be right back."
I will say, I've got one of my first notes here after the random things is, show don't tell, JJ. You used to be so good at this. Specifically referencing the lip reading section.
Yeah, it's a real good that the name of the lake. That's a real good little thing, and I like I kind of like and don't like the people whispering like, "How did he hear that?" And it's like, okay, sure. But yeah, he goes to the local convenience store and meets up with Musgrave, IMF Assistant Director of Operations, and lets him know that, hey, I know you've been out of the field for a little while, but
Which is great because it immediately lets you know that he's now training people.
Yeah,
he's like the trainer of the new agents.
Right, and one of his proteges, one of his trainees, Lindsay Ferris, has gotten trapped. He's she's trapped behind enemy lines, and was investigating the arms dealer Owen Davian, which is a really good bad
Uh-huh.
guy name that isn't like it's the Russians, you know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not
And I'm pretty
Sergei
sure when you see the
Gurlukovich.
team, I think when you see the team who gets him off the bridge, I'm pretty sure they're speaking Korean, I think, as well.
I
Uh,
think so. There's a lot of non-English languages spoken in this movie, which I kind of really dig, and none of them are subtitled, which is really great. It's just
uh-huh.
a lot of like, yeah, man, he doesn't know. Tom Cruise will learn a lot of things for a movie, but he didn't get around to Korean in this one. Um,
Yes.
so obviously Tom Cruise accepts the mission.
Hold
Um,
on, hold on. We need to talk about the because this is something we have not been keeping track of, and I regret that.
mm,
We didn't talk about the device the mission is given to him through
sure. So the first movie, it was like a
an in-flight
future,
movie.
yeah, like the in-flight movie, like cassette thing. The second one was the glasses, the sunglasses,
Sunglasses, yep.
and this one is a digital camera that has a
No,
video
no, no.
file in it.
Why are you saying digital? This ain't no digital camera, dude.
That's true. That's true. It is one of those cameras where you take a picture
Disposable,
and
like,
rip, rip, rip.
yep,
Yep.
the snap and wind kind of
Yep.
cameras.
Yeah, it's got a little screen on the inside with all the good details. Um, and I do like when he's holding it and it just puffs like that little puff of smoke comes out of
Uh-huh.
it. Um, and I like that Musgrave has already gotten a team together. He's like, yeah, here's these two guys, and your hacker. Hey, it's Luther. And it's like, yeah, all
Yep.
right, yeah, nice to see.
Were you happy to see Ving Rhames' face again?
Yeah, I'm happy to see Ving Rhames back because I think he's really good in these, and I like how he plays a hacker. It's not the like tippy tappy typing we're in. It's just sort of like, yeah, I got this laptop, it's rugged, bap bap bap, I'm done. Close it up. See you later, bye. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing cool about it. Um, but that's why it's cool. Um, so they go to Berlin to rescue Lindsay there. Um, in I like most of the missions in this movie, like most of the heists. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I think this one is really solid to open this movie. Um,
Yes.
Especially with unlike the second one, I had criticisms of the second one where it seemed like the missions weren't very well oiled. This one
Uh-huh.
is at a 10 out of 10 the entire time. Like Tom Cruise is putting shiny blinking things all over this building. Someone is going to
Uh-huh.
cut the electricity.
I've got a note that says Luther is esports as well, by the way.
That's right. That's right. Um, that totally just ruined my train of thought. But I like that it is like a team that is really solid, and it's not
Uh-huh.
the kind of bumbling team that obviously there's mistakes that happen later in the movie, but this one is everything is going right all the way up until it doesn't. Um,
Yeah.
and
And minimal lens flares, it's worth mentioning as well in this
yeah,
entire movie.
it's a bummer. I like him. I miss him.
I saw some of them. Like there's a
Yeah.
little bit here and there, like nothing like overwrought, but
Well,
he gets much more flary as he gets more control, I feel.
that's right. I think it's probably a good time to talk about it here because I think even in this mission by this point, you see it a little bit in the intro, but the intro's moving really fast. Um, I think you kind of see that style that
Uh-huh.
Abrams has kind of matched with this cinematographer here. I think you see a lot of that where it's like uses of color, uses of interesting angles. There's a scene much later in the movie in the Vatican where Hoffman is kind of climbing through the rafters of this old Vatican building, and there's some kind of interesting shots there where it's not just like the side camera standard
Yeah.
popcorn action shots. As
Yeah,
much
there's a
as this
lot of
is
sharp
very,
downs and sharp upwards.
yeah, especially like the straight down shots I thought were, especially for like, this is 100% a popcorn movie, and usually it's just like you shoot them the same way. Don't do anything crazy. And I like that there's at least something a little bit interesting here. They find her. They take her out. She has something to tell Ethan,
No,
but there's
no,
no
no,
time.
dude, no. We cannot. I specifically brought up Lutheran's esports because we need to talk about his sick machine gun setup, where he has 4 remote-controlled,
Oh,
like
yeah,
50 cal machine guns at
yeah.
different angles,
I don't know about
and
that.
he's controlling them with like the ball controls. It's
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah. I don't know about that
I love
specific.
it, dude.
Yeah,
It's so good.
yeah. Um, she has something to tell him. Off the record, so to speak. There's no
Uh-huh.
time. They get her out. They recover 2 laptops at the same time. Um,
Kind of.
yeah, I mean, they're laptops. You know, the outside are still laptops, but the inside are kind of like charcoal.
Crispy.
Yeah. Um, then we find out she had something planted in her head, which
Uh-huh.
the the
I I really like the adrenaline scene, by the way. Like that whole sequence.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
where I never want to get hit with adrenaline, by the way, as an
no,
aside.
yeah, please don't. If you have the opportunity to hit me with adrenaline, no, thank you. Um, but she dies in like one of the more affecting shots
Uh-huh.
of just her passing away, and I'm like, ooh, oh, they keep showing it. Ooh, they're going back to it. Okay, hey,
Uh-huh.
ha cha
And
cha.
that noise, that bzzzt noise is
Yeah,
just
that's real rough, man. Um, uh,
which we should probably mention the fact that there's a helicopter chasing a wind farm at this
I
point
was
while
just
they're
gonna
trying to
say,
do
there's
that.
like the wind farm helicopter chase is actually pretty cool. I do like the flight through the fan, the one fan that goes well for the home team and doesn't go well for the bad guys. That's pretty okay. And
Uh-huh.
the one like fin from the fan falling down and the sheep being upset about it.
Yeah, with that, I like the missile shots as well when like, because they're in like what looks like just like a residential. I was going to say, like a commercial style helicopter that you do tourist flights on,
Right.
and they're getting hunted down by what looks like an Apache.
Yeah, it's like a full on military operation. Um, yeah, there's one particular shot. I think it's here where the missile goes past the helicopter that the good guys are in, and you kind of see
The
the
light as it goes past.
as it goes past, and like there's a little bit of wind that goes past Tom Cruise's face, and like they don't really call it out, but it's one of those things that I think you notice subconsciously of like that was even closer than I thought. That's a cool
That's the
shot.
very first missile that they fire, and he
We only
does
get
the
one of
sideways
those.
tilt.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's like, "That was lucky. We only get one of those."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
There's
and again, the second missile is dealt with a flare gun, which is very good, quick thinking.
right.
It's like it's a heat seeker, so let's give it a different sort of heat and confuse it a little bit.
Yeah. I'm there's a lot of one-liners in this movie, which again, it's a popcorn movie, so that contractually has to be. But I feel like a lot of them are actually pretty solid, like that one, we only get one of those, because the movie never
Uh-huh.
like winks into the camera. It's like, well, that happened, whoa, like it doesn't do any of that. It's just like, yeah, we only get one of those. We're still getting shot at, so let's keep flying this helicopter. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's really well written without bringing attention to the fact that it's super well written.
yeah. Um, they eventually get back to IMF. the director Theodore Brassel, which is also a
Uh-huh.
really great name, gives Ethan and
I like the
Musgrave
fact
the
that his name is Brassel and he's
Mhm.
the brass. Like, it
Yeah,
makes perfect
it's
sense.
really good. And he gives Ethan and Musgrave the business with a capital B. I really like Lawrence Fishburne in this role just because he's like, hey, dummies, shut up. I'm going to yell at you for a while. Don't interrupt me while
Uh-huh.
I'm asking a rhetorical question. Um,
Yeah, and I'll get to you in a second is a great line as well. Like,
I,
he plays this so well.
he really does. Especially
He's
with,
got like 15 minutes of screen time and he kind of
yeah.
steals the show.
And I especially like his stuff about when Musgrave like throws his title around, and Brassel is
Did you
like,
just title me Mr. Musgrave?
yeah, it's just like, I don't care what president your daddy played golf with, and I'm like, oh, that's
Uh-huh.
Virginia Burn, ouch.
Because the best thing about that as well is it sets Brassel up as the bad guy, but on a rewatch, it gives you that extra little insight into Musgrave's character and
Right,
lets you see he throws his shit around
right.
so frequently that they have to bring attention to it.
Hmm.
So it's like, okay, so clearly he's the biggest d-bag on the planet kind of thing.
Yeah, and he's like, well,
It's
if he can't do his job, he'll throw around his title.
yeah, exactly, which is really a nice little touch to be like Brassel's the one being the aggressor in this situation.
Right.
But when you rewatch the movie, you realize why. It's probably because he's used to dealing with this kind of stuff.
Well,
Especially
and
with one throwaway line at the end of the movie, which we'll get to when we get there.
it also reinforces later when they um, decrypt the microdot, which is a really great term for that thing. Um, it further reinforces, like, well, Brassel has to be the bad guy because he's been a jerk the whole time.
Uh-huh. You know that's real, right? The micro
Oh
dot
yeah,
thing?
I just love the word microdot. It's like it's a very small dot. It's a microdot. It's like sure, but
Uh-huh.
it like reinforces this thing. It's like, well, he's been mean to Tom Cruise this entire time. How could you? Look at this man. He's been running for 45 straight minutes. Be nice to him.
Yeah.
How could he be the good guy? Whoops. So I also like the sort of discovery of like, well, you screwed up the mission. You killed an agent, one of the ones that you personally vouched for this mission.
Which, again, on a rewatch, this is great because we find out that she is the only one that he
Yes,
has recommended.
that's true. Yeah.
Whereas, like, because you think, well, he's just, recommending people willy
He's
nilly.
churning them out, man. He's a trainer. They're all good to go.
Uh-huh.
These 30 agents. And it's like, nope, here's the one.
Uh-huh.
She's good enough.
Yeah.
Um, and I like where they pull out the hard drives in the laptop where it's just like crispy. It's just like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's real good. So you screwed up
Yeah.
literally everything.
Yeah, and then they cut to them going to meet with the tech team, who is,
Yep.
of course,
Of course, Simon Pegg as
Uh-huh.
Benji, which is just
it's a great name.
it's a great Benji Dunn, which is
Uh-huh.
I like Simon Pegg's twitchiness in this movie.
Uh-huh.
He's not. Go ahead.
Just a little aside here, a little quote from Simon Pegg. After Shaun of the Dead was a big hit, people were asking him if he's going to start pursuing a career in Hollywood. And I quote, laughing, "It's not like I'm going to be in Mission Impossible 3."
I love you, Simon Pegg. I, I really like him as an actor, and I think he shows off really well in this. He's in the movie for like maybe 6 minutes total.
You are right. His performance is so twitchy. It's perfect.
But they do a really good job of not having him on screen for too long to like have the viewer get stressed out or annoyed by this like twitchy tech dude. It's just a lot of like aiding and abetting a criminal. Ha ha ha. Anyways, bye. Like
I'm gonna lose my citizenship over this is a great line.
it's a really good line. I like that one a lot.
But yeah, this is where we discover that Damien is going to be in the Vatican
Yep. Vatican
buying
City.
something called the Rabbit's Foot,
Right.
which was referenced at the very, very beginning, which is
Right.
this movie's MacGuffin is the
Yep.
Rabbit's Foot.
It's the thing. The super well named rabbit's foot. Because what is it? Who knows? Do we care?
They
Not really.
literally, I like that. I like the fact that we never know exactly
Yep.
what it is.
That's the first
It's
thing
so
I thought
good.
when I finished this movie is like, you don't know what the rabbit's foot is? It has a biohazard symbol on it. Don't worry about it. I mean, it's clearly bad. So, it's got the red sticker. So,
I, the anti-God story from Peg is real good.
I like that he says all of that and he's like, yeah, what do I know? Anyways, it's just like,
Yeah, I'm just speculating.
that's right.
It's
It was
like
just a fun story.
tense build up, and it's like, well, I don't know. I'm just speculating.
And it turns out to not be that at all, which is even better. It's not this like fast saga-ian virus that's going to take over the world. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. That's a cool story from college. Yeah, so they don't get approval to go do this mission, of course. He goes to tell
Oh,
Julia. Go ahead.
hold on. He says that Musgrave needs, because him and Musgrave
Plausible
are clearly
deniability.
friends. Yeah, he needs
Yeah.
deniability on it for the op.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna not mention one of Ving Rhames' best lines in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
That look in your eye is a pain in my ass.
I like that. It's interesting because I like that Ving Rhames' character is like clearly likes Ethan, but is clearly pretty tired with him and maybe doesn't want to work with him again. With how much he's given Ethan the business the entire time, especially like about his relationships and everything.
Yeah, you get the feeling that they've probably worked multiple operations after what we saw in 2 together,
Yeah, exactly.
because when he arrives in Berlin, that's the first thing he says to him is "Welcome back." It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm retired. Really? Is this what retirement looks like?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have approval. He and Julia have a impromptu wedding at the hotel chapel. I kind of like the scene. It's maybe a little bit longer than I wish it was, but there's a good scene of him being like, "I gotta go out on business again. Bye." And she's like, "Hey man, like what's going on? Are you what's happening here?" It is a nice little thing of his the 2 rings being like the gumball machine rings, though. That's pretty good.
Yeah, the panda and the flower, I believe it is.
I think it is, yeah. So the team goes to Vatican City, which Ving Rhames gives all the stats about. It's yada yada yada. The impossible mission. I do like. I like everybody's yelling at each other because the DHL truck broke down right next to the wall of Vatican City.
Yeah. It's on the one-way street.
Right.
My note here is angry Italians,
Yeah.
comma, there's the cables.
Yep. Yeah, the line of now that we've pissed off every Italian in Rome, you can head in there.
Go do your thing.
Yeah. We do get the shot here as he rappels down from the wall, which I'm sort of surprised they go back to it again, but I'll take it.
I really like the spy tech though. The whole running up the wall one side.
That's a really great shot that genuinely looks practical. Like I'm sure that there's just a zip line he's attached to, and Tom Cruise is like, I'm just gonna run up that. Someone figure out a way for me to run up that wall. It's like, yes sir, Mr. Cruise. And he just hoofs it up that wall.
Yeah, and like the camera and the printing is solid too.
I do really like that because I'm like, what is he taking a picture of? What's this machine? Oh, printing out a picture. Oh, it's a little holder. I put it in front of the camera. All right, yeah, cool. Like it's. I like that. Not every solution is super high tech.
Super high tech.
Yeah, it's just like I have a tiny printer and I have a digital camera and I just took a picture at approximately the right angle and then I pulled the like interception thing off of it. It's like, yeah, all right, that's cool.
Again, great line worth saying here is when he has completed that side of the mission.
Mm-hmm.
His line when he's lying on top of the on top of
Oh,
the
Humpty
wall.
Dumpty is sat on a wall. It's just like,
Uh
yeah,
huh.
that's the mission starting
And then it
phrase.
cuts back to the truck,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like all of the happy Italians are like, "Yay, we got it sorted!"
Right.
It's
Hey,
like,
it's a great day. Yeah. Um.
which
I
I like the fact that none of this is subtitled. By the way, none
Yeah.
of the Italian is subtitled at all,
100%.
really.
Yeah. And I like that it isn't because you don't need to know it. Like everybody's angry.
Mhm.
Hey, the truck works. All right, everybody's happy. I do like I think it's a really fun shot where Tom Cruise like bundles all of the DHL clothes on the zip line and just sends them back up.
Dude,
And
he literally like unzips it, steps out of it, and it
yeah,
just
just whoop.
goes.
And then the reveal of him walking around that bush and he's just wearing like the
Priest's
robes,
attire.
and I'm just like, that's such a good shot of like, what is he wearing under this thing? Oh right, he's a priest. Sure. Just
Mhm.
like he
And
has
pulls
the
out the Bible and starts
yeah,
studying it.
it's really good. Like it's just, but I actually really like pretty much everything about this infiltration scene because both the Berlin job and the Vatican job are. We've talked about a ton of heist movies, and we always talk about if you explain the whole thing, it goes wrong. If you don't explain any of it, it goes right. And part of what I like about Mission Impossible is most times they don't explain any of it, and you can tell it's going to plan, and then there's little twists and little speed bumps here and there that they kind of deal with. So you kind of get both sides of that, where it's like this mission is clearly going well until you run into a couple of little issues because you can't predict everything that's going to happen.
Yeah. We didn't talk yet about Ving Rhames underwater
Yeah. Yep.
welding, or not welding, cutting through some barb
Yep.
through some steel frames.
Yep.
There's a whole conversation. All they are so chatty on these microphones, and I love it because it's
Yep.
constantly giving you updates and character development for every single character. It's so good.
Yeah, and I especially like when they switch between the mission is happening, and then I'm gonna give Ethan a little bit of guff about his relationship because relationships can't work for spies, and then
Mhm.
like back to the mission. Like I'm a sucker for that stuff. The mission largely is going well until we see that uh, uh, Owen Davian has picked up a briefcase, so now they need to
Mhm.
switch to a different mode. They are
Which means they probably missed the buyer, or the
right,
seller, I should say.
yeah, because Maggie Hughes' character says that she can't see who did the drop, um, so they
Who has infiltrated the Vatican by way of a Lamborghini and
right, and
the Irish fella letting him in.
yeah, I do like that they're doing this. What they probably thought 3D printing would be in 2006, which is like 3D
Mhm.
carving to make a PSH mask, which is there's a really
Oh.
so there's a shot in this that I really like because there's so many times in this movie the camera swings behind someone's back, and I like
Literally, my next note that I've got here is that transition is incredible.
yeah
And I
because
think it's the one we're about to talk about.
yeah, because most movies, and they do it a ton in this movie, is like, oh, it swings behind the back, so the frame is totally black for at least a couple of frames. And normally, like that's where you do the transition. You're like, whoa, now I'm in Shanghai. And the movie's like, no, it's just moving around the character. And they do that like two, maybe three times when they're putting the mask and the voice box on Ethan, and you keep thinking like, well, this is the one where Hoffman is going to be here. Nope, that's not it. Nope. And then like when they put the eyebrows on, all of a sudden it's Philip Seymour Hoffman. I'm like, wow, dang,
It's
that was
really
great.
nice light CGI because like the nose is still a little too far out, the cheeks are
Yep,
a little, the eyes are a little out,
yep,
and then as Luther is like pushing down on the mask to settle it in place,
yep,
like the CGI resolves itself to a real person. So it's like reverse CGI, but
yeah,
it's not a person transitioning with CGI to something else. It's CGI transitioning to a person,
It's
which is a really nice touch.
it's really clean. Like I
And like
keep
the squishy noises as he pushes the eyes in
it's
is
a
really
little like,
solid.
yeah, it's really good. And then seeing Philip Seymour Hoffman
Being Tom
announce,
Cruise, being Philip Seymour Hoffman.
yeah, like being Tom Cruise and being like, we got married 2 days ago. I like Luther's congratulations there.
Uh-huh.
And then uh, Ethan Ethan as Hoffman like goes up the catacombs and comes out the bathroom. There's a bunch of business that happens in there. I
Yeah,
forgot.
the red wine spilling is a
Yeah,
really great moment. I love Hoffman's delivery on that, where it's like, "Oh no, you're fine. I always spill red wine on my custom-made white suits."
his like deadpan delivery of that is really good. Um,
Mhm.
I I really like the like horror-esque shot of just Philip Seymour Hoffman standing behind Philip Seymour Hoffman in the thing, and just the look of confusion on his face as he's washing his face. Just be like, oh,
Mhm.
this is not going to be good for me. Um, and I forgot how much I liked the scene where Tom Cruise's Hoffman is making the real Hoffman read the poem on the card. Um,
Yep.
I
Which, by the way, that poem is one of the few poems to exist that uses every phenome in the English language,
right.
which is why it's used.
Right. Um, it's really cool. This whole scene is really tense, especially when the security guard comes in and two people are behind the door, like, ah. Tom Cruise is doing that terrible fake coughing with the two holding up the two fingers. Um,
Uh-huh.
uh, I I like how they get the briefcase out where Hunt as Davian is flirting with Maggie Q and just like, yeah, let's,
Uh-huh.
all right, yeah, I'll take the briefcase with me. One of my favorite,
I'm sure we'll think of something to do.
yeah,
Is
one of my
is a good
favorite
line.
lines in this movie, just because the delivery is super weird, is when they
What's
pull
up?
up, yeah, nothing. What's up with you? Nothing. Like, just,
Yep.
I like that shot too of just like the bottom of that
Through the sewer
Lamborghini
grate.
being open. Yeah, like it's real goofy and real weird. Like they're just kind of having fun. Um,
Followed by one of these, probably the second most intense scene in this movie.
yeah, the hanging Davian from the plane scene.
Yep. The
Um,
plane interrogation.
yeah, and Luther making a big old mistake by using names, um,
Uh-huh.
like
Who are you?
15
What do you
times.
do? What's your name?
That's
Who are
right.
you? Who
I,
are you? Like,
I
he is not phased
no,
in the slightest,
he knows
and
he's
it's
gonna get
so
out.
good.
Yeah, like he just has that confidence of like, I don't care what you're gonna do to me. I'm not answering questions, and I like that later he's like, you had all the information, like everything about Rabbit's Foot is in there. You just didn't figure it out. Um, uh, this is where they figure out what is on the microdot, saying that Brassel is working with Davian, and then immediately there's an ambush on the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, which is just the coolest looking bridge, in one of the coolest looking bridges in the world. I like
Uh-huh.
I like a long bridge. Um, this page said the mercenaries were speaking German, but
Okay.
who knows?
Tomato, tomato.
Yeah. And it's 2006, so of course they're being attacked by a drone.
Yep.
Which,
My note here is the power of drones.
yeah, this drone
How
is
few... Like, Mission Impossible seems to get this right about 10 years too early. Mission
right,
Impossible 2 was a giant plague.
right.
Mission Impossible 3 is all about the drones.
Yeah, a missile-equipped drone.
I think it's a Predator as well. A Predator, maybe Mark II, I think the drone
Okay,
is.
okay,
Which is one of the most expensive slash coolest slash amazing drones that exist on the planet,
right.
and constantly used for death and destruction, because of course.
Bummer. I like a lot of this scene where just they are
This is
trapped.
where it goes popcorn movie.
Yeah, because like of course they're gonna get ambushed, and of course everything goes wrong. I kind of like that shot of the helicopter coming up behind Tom Cruise and then just being like, "We got this," and not even shooting him, just being like, "Bye." I kind of dig that. One of my so everything's exploding, people are hurt. They're trying to stop the bad guys from taking Owen Davian. One of my favorite shots in this movie that I can't believe I forgot about also is the one where Tom Cruise gets thrown into that white car. And
When
as soon
he's
as
trying to get the G36 out of the truck.
yeah, and like as soon as it happened, I was like, "Oh my god, that's like the shot from this movie." How could I forget? It's not even center frame, which I love so much. It's just like this thing explodes, Tom Cruise gets yeeted into the side of this car and is very much like that. Okay, that one hurt. That one's bad. That's not a good one. And he gets the gun. He shoots down the missile. I really like the orange foam they spray on the side of that truck and then shatter it. And of course he escapes. Owen Davian escapes.
Because Ethan runs out of ammo because he literally just shot down the drone to try and save everybody on the bridge, essentially.
Yep. Yeah.
We did miss, by the way, that Musgrove reported the successful collection of Davian to.
Oh yeah, to Brassel. Yeah, and Brassel's like, did you know
about this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, of course I did. And Brassel's like, sure you did. This is where Ethan realizes that Julia is also in danger, because he's putting together like, well, the bad guy knows my name, so he probably knows everything about me now.
Do you have a wife? Do you have a girlfriend?
Right.
Because I'm gonna make them bleed.
Right. So there's this kind of interesting. I like him running into this hospital, freaking out.
Hold on. He knows Julia's under threat because Breaking Bad called him.
That's right, and he's like, "Hey, did your English friend find you?" And he's like, "Oh no." Yeah, I like that he's like, "Don't worry, bro. I didn't tell him where you are. I just told him where your wife is and the hospital she works at. And here's a list of her fears and her schedule. Anyways, bye." I do like when he's running through this hospital, just be like, "Where's Julia?" Everyone's like, "Hi, hey, what's up? Hey, Ethan, what's going on? Oh, why are you so sweaty?"
So on a rewatch, something that you'll notice as he goes in the front door.
Yeah, he bumps into the gurney that has Julia in.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's like a nice little wink and a nod.
Yep. I like the call that Davian gives to Ethan where he's like, "Hey man, I got your wife. Whatever, like, just give me rabbit's foot. I don't care. 48 hours.
48 hours.
Yeah, you got 48 hours. I like that he's like, last time I saw you, I think you were wearing a watch. Anyways, 48 hours from my mark. Go, bye. It's just like, he's eating chips in the background. Like, he does not care.
It's really hard to pull off the cool bad guy. It's very difficult to pull off the cool bad guy. I think Philip Seymour Hoffman nails it in this movie. Not because he's cool in a traditional way. He's cool in the fact that he literally doesn't care about anybody other than himself, which means that he's always calm and collected, generally speaking.
And like a little bit bored.
Everything.
But just like, of course I'm going to win. What am I doing in this plane? I'm going to kill you all. I'll find out who you are and I'll kill you. Whatever. Can I take a nap?
It's that whole thing of how I wish... It's the Batman thing where Batman has rules. Ethan Hunt has rules that he has to follow. Davian does not have rules, so therefore that's how he will win. He is a more effective Joker than Joker.
Yeah. I do like this quick scene of like Ethan coming out and all the IMF agents surround him, and he's very much like, "Hey, like, can we not look over there?" And like just sprints the other way, and they get him no matter what. I also like that he got captured instead of just like, "I can run, gotta go." Yeah. He gets taken to like this underground IMF area. I like that.
The Hannibal Lecter mask.
Yeah, the Hannibal Lecter mask, the like "please stop talking" mask. I actually really like the line from Brassel of like, "I will bleed just to keep the stripes on flag red." I think
Uh-huh.
that's
Which
because
it's a villain line at the same time.
it is like that's what I think is so great. Is like, oh, he's so bad. Ooh, he's so like. I remember when I was reading the Harry Potter books before we knew she's a miserable transphobe. That I was reading them as they were kind of coming out, and every time I was reading them, I was texting TVGP alumnus Brad and being like, "Oh, Snape is so bad in this. Oh, he's such a bad. This is the one where he's bad." And at the end, you're like,
Uh-huh.
"Ah, well, maybe not this time." And for me,
Yeah,
that's
it's that
Brassel, where it's like, "Oh, he's so bad." It's like,
mid-
no, he's not.
perfect middle of the road writing. It's very
Yep.
patriotic and it's very evil.
Yep.
It's both extremes.
Yeah. Um. So, uh, Musgrave tells Ethan where the Rabbit's Foot is in Shanghai, and then helps him
Uh-huh.
escape
With how does he tell him?
by mouthing it, which is
Uh-huh.
real good. Um,
Again, show don't tell. JJ used to
yeah,
be so good at this. What
yep.
happened?
Because almost every audience member will be like, "Oh, yeah, because of the intro." Yeah, and that whole intro comes back up at least one more time.
Uh-huh.
So Ethan travels to Shanghai as like this Dutch hippie, which is like a
Czech Republic, thank you very much.
okay, yes, it's so good. Oh my god, that disguise
Which
is just
apparently is a reference to the TV show because the TV show I think opened with Ethan Hunt doing a mission in the Czech Republic.
wow. Okay, um, he goes to Shanghai, finds the building, nothing's there. His whole crew is like, "Hi, don't kill us, please."
Uh-huh.
Um, the
This is a great. This is one of my favorite scenes in this movie.
which one's that?
It's the conversation about what the Rabbit's Foot is, where it is, everything
Yeah,
like that. The three buildings, which are the iconic buildings in Shanghai,
yep,
but particularly it's the drawing on the window section of this scene.
yeah. The social network drawing on the window scene. Um,
I haven't seen that movie, mate.
you haven't seen the social network? Okay, well let's start a
Production
Fincher.
meeting is
Let's start a Fincher season. Here we go. Yeah, I like. Man, I like so much about this. Also, so he comes up with this idea that he's just gonna swing himself from one building to another. We're running a little long, so we gotta cut down some of this stuff. He's swinging from one building to another, and everybody's like, "That's crazy." And he's like, "Cool, I have like 18 minutes until my wife
uh-huh.
dies. Can you just shut up and swing me to this building?" Um, I I really like the shots from far, far away where he's like, "Oh, batter up," and the stuff starts flying through the air, and you're like, "What is happening?" And just seeing the baseballs
Baseballs.
pelt
Yeah.
the building, um, it's really
And
um,
I like the fact that while Mission Impossible might steal from the Fast and the Furious franchises with the new movie coming out
right.
in the coming future, bringing old characters back and all that jazz. I like the fact that Fast Five steals from Mission Impossible 3 here because it's like this is the mission, we're not going to see it, and Fast Five is very
Yep,
much like we need more cars, cars pull in, like
yep.
it's
I really like it because like I think it increases the stress of the two cars full of people where they're like, this was a 5 minute job. It's been 12 minutes. What's gonna happen? And then the next thing they hear is Ethan Hunt being like, "It's all gone wrong. I can't. Oh my god, please!" And just him throwing himself out of a window, being like, "Well, let's go. Let's do it." Um,
uh-huh.
the I there's a shot that I really it it starts off the shot that we get in all of these action movies now where like the hero busts into a building or a room he's not supposed to be in and the cleaning guy is like, "Whoa, what's happening?" um I feel like
Yep,
that
and the
shot
parachute drags him off.
I feel like that shot is saved by him his eyes going super wide when he's getting pulled out of there, and the piece of paper smacking the cleaning guy on the face. Like it's a
Uh-huh.
1-2 punch of just like, well, both of these things are real good. We're gonna put them in there, and they there's an interesting scene of Tom Cruise chasing the rolling away rabbit's foot across the street. He maybe gets hit a little bit in real life by the car that the rest of the team is driving. It
Uh-huh.
seems like actual Tom Cruise's face might have bounced off
He
that
is.
bumper a little bit.
That's real Tom Cruise,
Yeah,
real car, real stunt.
yeah, real concussion. And I like the scene. I kind of like this chase too of them trying to get away so he can get a signal. He's not trying to escape. He's just trying to call Davian. Like Davian picking up, being like, "Hey man, you had like just a couple seconds left, so
I hope
what?"
you realize that.
Yeah, like whatever, man. Um, the so Davian gives Ethan a location and says, "Come alone." Ethan goes there with Rabbit's Foot. The British guy says like, "Hey, just drink this, no questions."
Dude, it's a really sick limo as well.
It's pretty cool.
By
Like
the way,
if you're gonna get knocked out and brought somewhere, like you might as well take a nap in style, man.
uh-huh.
So he gets knocked out. We then sort of meet back up with this scene from the very beginning, where he
Yep.
gets the micro explosive thing planted in his head. The countdown happens alongside now a different scene where the rest of the team comes back to the States and gets arrested
Arrested.
by Brassel.
Pressel.
Oh, we forgot to. There has been one mask rip, though, right? Or did we see that on screen?
I don't know if we saw a mask rip on
Ooh,
screen. Um,
interesting. I don't. I'm trying to think if
but
we did or not, and I'm
we
thinking,
we need to count. We need to count it because it is a mask that we saw. We saw the inverse
sure,
of it, though. We saw the
that's right.
creation of the mask.
Yeah, an unrip. Um, and I'm gonna mark down 2 here because after Julia gets shot, then Musgrave is like, "Hey, no, man, she's cool. She's cool. Look at this."
I like the
And
fact that he shows up in like a haze. And
yeah, like Tom Cruise
I
still
don't know if
isn't
you
all the
caught
way
it.
there.
Do you watch those subtitles at
Yeah.
all?
Hmm.
Because I like the fact that it's very barely audible, but as Davian walks out the room, he's like, "I pushed him as far as I possibly can." Like
Yeah, we
it's
know he's not
definitely the
lying.
real thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And then Musgrave comes on, and Tom Cruise is just like, "Wait, what happened?" He's like, "Yeah, it's cool, man. Julia's not dead." And he rips the tape off of her face, and it's a mask. And that's the translator is the person who got shot because she. So like a real weird line where he's like, she failed him or something like that. And I was like, oh
in the
man.
Vatican, it's the
Yeah, in
lady
the
from the
Vatican,
Vatican.
yeah. Yeah. So they they wanted to do that to authenticate the rabbit's foot. Um, they want
By the
to,
way,
yeah,
I've got a line here specifically about the Musgrove conversation,
yeah,
which is, "I'm using war to sell war to end war." Hashtag Metal Gear Rising.
yeah. This whole speech that Musgrave has is just like, okay, cool. So I'm gonna sell the real rabbit's foot to a terrorist organization. That way we can just come in and clean the whole thing up. Democracy, and it's like that's
Yes, democracy wins, and it's just like,
yeah. And I was just
oh,
like, man, 2006, yikes. So that's. I feel like this movie doesn't explain a lot of itself, which I kind of dig. And when they do here, it's okay. But the capstone of democracy wins is just like, yeah, man, you suck. You're the worst.
yeah,
God.
it's very appropriate in 2022, we'll say.
Yes. So Ethan escapes, knocks him out. He He uses Musgrave's phone to call Benji to track Julia, who turns out is actually in Shanghai. And then Tom Cruise runs for about 10 minutes straight. This scene is still incredible. What a long shot. Like, just
Oh yeah.
a one long shot, and then, like, when he kind of takes that corner at the end, the camera switches to behind him, and then there's another really long shot. It's like, man. Also, let Tom Cruise rest.
The Benji scene is where we get the "I'm going to lose my citizenship" for this line, which is real quality.
I also like when he puts on his help desk voice, when he's like, he needs to, like, run the trace, and he's like, can you just
hold the line?
Yeah, please hold the line. It was like, he also has that interaction with that lady that stops by, and he's like, hi, hey, hi, how you doing? Yeah. And I like that Tom Cruise is screaming on the phone, Benji, where do I go? It's like, that's real good. Benji leads him to the building. Julia's in there, safe and sound. Tom Cruise is... The thing in his head has been activated. Oh no, Davian is there.
It's a fight with Davian.
Fist fight, which turns out to be a much more brutal fight than I think I was expecting it to be. I wasn't expecting, like, Philip Seymour Hoffman to, like, toss a dude around. But Tom Cruise is in a bad way. Does he kill Davian at this point? I wasn't entirely sure.
He does, I believe, yes. Let me think about this. He does the elbow. Yep, because he's doing the heads-up elbows attacking because he's trying to smoosh his forehead to stop the brain from hurting.
Yeah.
And they go outside.
Oh, right, I forgot that the scenes are always cool where someone gets to like lay down on the ground and a truck passes over them, but if there's a dude on top of you, well, that dude is gone. And there's always the famous, like, GIF rule on the internet is that if someone's shoes come off, they're dead, and that reminded me of this, where just his shoe lands, and it's like, well, he's dead for sure. So he gets Julia free, shows her how to use a gun. It's easy, it's point and shoot. You just put it in, like, the batteries and the flashlight in the kitchen. And then there's a great line of, like, I'm going to die if you don't kill me. And she's just like, what? I'm sorry? And the other really good line of, like, you need to turn this on and off again, and don't forget the off. Like,
yes, don't forget the off part is pretty solid.
Yeah, it's real good. There's a bunch of real good stuff happening all here. I like that he bites through the tongue depressors.
Yeah, that scene
that's rough.
That shot is kind of shot.
Yeah, and then she kills the dude that's hunting her down, and then finds another dude and kills him, and oops, it's Musgrave. And it's like, okay, cool. And
which I like the fact that Julia is the savior here.
Yeah,
she kills that other random guy. She kills Musgrave. She brings him back using CPR. Like, it's an action movie, and the lady is the star.
Well, and I like his line of, like, I know you'll bring me back. And it's like, oh yeah, she's a nurse. Yeah. She's got it. She brings Ethan back, and then Ethan is sort of like, I should probably explain to you, like, what my job actually is.
Which, this is a great line. I don't care what anybody says. This is a great line when, like, they're walking across the bridge and he's, like, doing a rundown. He's like, I work for a special force called the IMF. And she's like, well, what does that stand for? And he's like, the Impossible Mission Force?
Yeah.
And she's like, shut up. No, it doesn't. It's like...
That's so the best way to explain it, is just have the other character being like, that's dumb. No. What? For real? Yeah, and then we go back to Virginia, and Brassel congratulates Ethan and was like, hey man, like, I was giving you a lot of the business for a while. Sorry about that, but, like, the White House has a very important mission for you if you're interested. Wink. And I like the line that Ethan has of, like, I'm pretty interested in going on my honeymoon. And I like that Brassel's like, yeah, all right, that's fine. We can do that. And I, like we were talking about earlier, I like that Ethan asks, like, hey man, I saw like rabbit's foot, like what was that thing? Like we all know what it is. Like you can just explain it to me. And Brassel's like, well, I'll tell you if you promise to stay. And Ethan's like, yeah, I should probably get to my honeymoon. Bye.
Oh.
I like that they don't explain it. Like it doesn't need to be
Yep.
the stuff from the last movie. It's just like, yeah, man, it's probably real bad. So don't worry
Yep.
about it.
Don't need to know what it is.
Yeah.
There you go. Problem solved.
It's a bio something. And that's the end. That's the end of our movie. Metacritic has this at 71% tomato meter, 69% audience score. Metacritic has this at 66 Metascore and 78 user score. 66 feels really low for this movie.
Yeah, honestly, 6.9 on IMDb as well is an atrocity. Like in my opinion, this is probably my favorite Mission Impossible movie so far.
Yeah, I mean, like I think to me this is like an 8.5 or a 9. Like it's not like a 10 out of 10 sort of thing. But like to me, this is a great, really well done popcorn movie that knows it's a popcorn movie. It's not trying to be anything other than we got our 3 heists, we got to have the 1 Mission Impossible shot, we've got a bunch of mask rips, and then everybody's just acting the hell out of this movie. Like,
yeah, and like it's not even that dumb. Like the
no,
performances are so good all the way around.
yeah,
And I think we can all agree Seymour Hoffman kind of steals this movie.
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like rest in peace, big guy, because this is a performance that's ridiculous.
Yeah. It has there's no reason he should be as good as he is in this movie. Like you could be like what's his butt in the last movie? Anthony Hopkins just being like, "Hey, it's me, your IMF boss. Mission:
Yep.
I hate women.
Get in a
Snore,
boat.
snore." Yeah, like get in a boat. Get the lady in the boat. But yeah, like everybody does a great job in this movie. Of course, it's a Mission Impossible movie, so Maggie Q has like 4 lines, and she doesn't really do that much except for get shot Shanghai.
At least Julia has a pretty good role.
Yeah, she's got a lot to do, and it's nice to see an actor like her get a role like this and like get some good screen time, and shoot a bunch of dudes at the end. Like that's cool. Yeah, I there's very little to not like from this movie. It's just a solid, cool popcorn action movie that I think Abrams does a great job directing it. I think the cinematography is cool. You know, we've talked every once in a while in this that I think you start seeing kind of the touchstones of what we'll see from Abrams in the future, maybe kind of for better or for worse.
The director trademarks, as the IMDb puts it, as
right. Yeah, like
honestly, I think this might be his best movie as a director.
Yeah, what else do we have him here for? I like
Star Trek is incredible.
Yeah, I like Star Trek. He did Super 8, which I have never seen. I like the second. He did Into Darkness? Is that the 3rd movie or the 2nd Star Trek movie?
I think that's the 3rd.
Okay. I liked that one a lot, and then he did Star Wars Episodes 7 and 9. I've never seen 9, but 7's okay.
The 7 was fine.
Yeah, there's no 8. That's for sure.
No, 100%. This is a Last Jedi fan club right here, folks.
Yeah, that's right.
If you know where you fall on that movie, we fall on that side.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I think I might agree with you. I like Star Trek. I like the 2 Star Trek movies he directed.
He does really good in that first Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
But it feels like Star Trek was practice for Star Wars, where it's just like, let's give you just enough.
Yeah.
Where, you know, it's different. But yeah,
I like it a lot.
I like this is probably his best movie, and in my opinion, it's the best Mission Impossible movie so far.
Yeah, I feel like it has the best stuff from 1, which is the heists are really cool. They are well oiled. The team is so experienced. The thing that I like is the team is so experienced by this point that when speed bumps inevitably come up, they're just going to pivot and they're going to get around it and they're just going to do their job and get the mission done. It's not, there's no like, oh God, there's a briefcase. Why? And it's just like, oh, well, we got to get that briefcase now too. Okay, cool. Now we got two objectives. So I think it's cool. I think it's a great movie. And I think I agree with you. I think it's the movie to beat in this franchise so far. And I kind of, our next one is Ghost Protocol. And I sort of have higher expectations for that one coming out of this one and being
I haven't seen this one.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing Ghost Protocol, but it has a lot to live up to after this one turned out really great, sort of surprisingly. So, all right, any final thoughts here for MI3?
It's real good.
Yep.
If you haven't been joining us on this journey for the Mission Impossible movies, or you haven't seen them, or you're curious, 3 is definitely the one worth a rewatch to me.
Yeah.
Just for the performances alone.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you all next episode. Bye.
Bye.